This is the 15th session of Business Economics of first semester BCom section. The title of this class is Elasticity of Demand. So under this topic you are going to study these many contents: meaning and definition of demand, functions of demand, determinants of demand. So let us see what we have studied in earlier session. This is a time to recall us what we have studied. So in the previous sessions we have studied a law of demand followed by increase and decrease in demand. So in the simple way we have studied increase in demand means shift in the demand curve to the rightward. In other words, you can say rightward shift in demand curve is increase in demand. So leftward shift in demand you can call it as decrease in demand. So in this session we have studied how demand curve shift causes, or else shifts in demand curve causes changes in equilibrium point, so that it changed the equilibrium quantity and equilibrium price. These things we have studied in the earlier session. In this session we are going to study about the elasticity of demand in detail, and also we are studying different types of elasticity of demand in general and the price elasticity of demand in particular. Dear student, as we have studied that demand for a commodity means it is the desire of a commodity. It must be backed by these two things. One is ability to pay, another one is willingness to pay. So demand means it should include three aspects. One is desire, the second one is ability, and the third one is willingness to buy a commodity. So this is called as demand. And at the same time we should remember that we have studied law of demand. While stating a law of demand, we stated that we have studied that other thing remaining same or other thing being equal, when price rises, demand decreases. When price decreases, demand increases. So we have studied an inverse relationship between price and quantity of demand. But one of the important question arises here with us is, law of demand says, of course, a direction of change. Law of demand says a direction of change. How price changes associates with the quantity of demand of it. Okay, so if the price changes, how the demand changes? Price increase means demand decrease. Here we are studying only the direction of change, but it is not able to express the important aspect called as the responsiveness of a demand. Responsiveness of demand for change in price. So it is the concept of elasticity of demand which says the degree of responsiveness of the the degree of responsiveness of a demand to its determinants. Okay, degree of responsiveness of the demand to its determinants. We have a formula for elasticity of demand. The formula is percentage change in quantity demand divided by percentage change in its determinants. So, according to the determinants, these denominator may change. If the determinant is price, then the denominator is percentage change in price of the demand. If the determinant is income, then we have to write denominator as percentage change in income. So, this is actually the formula of elasticity of demand. Let us see the types of elasticity of demand. Basically, we can say there are 4 types of elasticity of demand. So, the first one is price elasticity of demand. Second one is income elasticity of demand. Third one is cross elasticity of demand. Fourth one is promotional elasticity of demand. Let us discuss what is price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand means degree of responsiveness of demand of a commodity to change in its price. Price elasticity means degree of the responsiveness of the demand for a commodity to change in price. In other words, you can say that the extent of change in the demand of a commodity with response to change in price. What extent actually the demand for the commodity is changed because of change in price. In other words, we can explain law of demand, elasticity of demand as it is a ratio of proportionate change in quantity demand of a commodity to a given proportionate change in its price. So, here we have used proportionate change, ratio of change in quantity of demand to given proportionate change in price. So, let us see some of the definitions of elasticity of demand. According to Professor Lipsey, he says that elasticity of demand may be defined as the ratio of percentage change in demand to percentage change in price. So, here he used ratio of percentage change in demand to percentage change in price. According to Robinson, elasticity of demand at any price is the proportional change of amount purchased in response to a small change in price. And Alfred Marshall explains elasticity of demand may be the percentage change in quantity demand divided by percentage change in price. According to Baldwin, price elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of quantity demand to change in price. This is the definitions of elasticity of demand. Dear students, you remember the authors or the pioneers, the thinkers in this area, they have expressed elasticity as either it is the ratio or proportionate or percentage change in quantity demand with respect to price. They have set the same issue, that is the amount of change in quantity demand with respect to change in price, but they have explained in different ways, that's all. Here we have a formula for price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand means percentage change in quantity demand divided by percentage change in price. So here is a formula where we have written as delta Q by delta P. Delta Q means change in quantity, delta P means change in price, then P by Q. Here P means base price, Q means base quantity. Clear? So delta means change, then delta Q means change in quantity, only Q, this means base quantity, then P means base price, delta P means change in price. Let us discuss this concept with the help of an example. So here in this example, it stated that a consumer demands 10 orange when the unit price is 10 rupees. When the unit price is 10 rupees, and if the price falls to 5 rupees, then he demanded 15 orange. When we see this formula, we can write Q in the sense the base or initial quantity is how much? 10. Then P, initial price is how much? 10 rupees. Then change in quantity is how much? It is 15. Then change in price is 5 rupees. So when we apply these numbers into the formula, we get the results as 3. Okay, so this is one simple example. You can calculate elasticity of demand. Now, there are different types of price elasticity of demand that we can study with the help of schedule and diagram. So, we will see the first one, perfectly elastic demand. Perfectly elastic demand. So, the demand for the commodity is called perfectly elastic when its demand expands or contrasts to any extent without or a very little change in its price. So, perfectly elastic demand means a small change in price, a little, very little or very small change in price leads to an infinite change in. An infinite change in demand may expand or contrast to any extent is called as perfectly elastic demand. So, perfectly elastic demand, in a simple way you can say that a small change in price may cause an infinite change in demand. So, that is why you represent price elasticity demand as ED, it is equal to infinite. So, the symbol you have to say it as infinite. So, let us take one example. When the price is 20, demand is 2 units, and in the same price demand is another situation, it is 4 rupees. So, here when we depict this in a diagram, we are going to get one demand curve that is horizontal to OX axis. Clear? In perfectly demand curve, perfectly elastic demand, we are going to get demand curve which will be horizontal to OX axis. Clear? So, first one is perfectly elastic demand. So perfectly elastic demand means a small change in price may leads to infinite change in quantity demand. So we can express price perfectly elastic demand as ED it is equal to infinite. Then when we depict this in the form of two-dimensional diagram, we will get a demand curve which will be horizontal to OX axis. Clear? So this is the first type, that is perfectly elastic demand. Let us see the second one, that is perfectly inelastic demand. Perfectly inelastic demand. This says that when the quantity demanded does not change at all responds to change in its price. In other words, you can say that at any change in price, the quantity of demand will never change. If the price expands or price contrasts, price ಜಾಸ್ತಿಯೇ ಆಗಲಿ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆಯೇ ಆಗಲಿ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. So here you have an example for that. For example, at 10 rupees, the demand of the commodity is used at how many units? 2 units. Let us suppose price increased to 15 rupees. Here in the case also the consumer demands at 2 units. Price further raised to 20 rupees. So here also they demand only 2 units. When we depict this in two-dimensional diagram, so we will get a demand curve which is parallel to OY axis, In this situation, we denotes elasticity of demand, it is equal to 0. So practically these type of elasticity will be happen in case of the necessities. For example, in case of salt ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಉಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಬೆಲೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅತಿಯಾಗಿ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಬಳಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಅತಿ ಉಪ್ಪು ಅನ್ನದ ಬದಲು ಉಪ್ಪನ್ನೇ ನಮಗೆ ತಿನ್ನಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಉಪ್ಪಿಗೆ 1,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಉಪ್ಪು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮಗೆ ತಿನ್ನಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಅನುಭೋಗಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ. Okay, this is perfectly inelastic demand. Whatever may be the change in price, the quantity of demand of the product will never change. Clear? This is perfectly inelastic demand, where ED it is equal to 0. Then the third one is unit elastic demand. So this is a situation where percentage change in quantity demand of a commodity equals to percentage change in quantity demand of a commodity will be equal to percentage change in its price. So then it is called as unit elastic demand. So in simple word, you can say that the change in price causes a same change in quantity demand. The change in price leads to a same amount of changes in quantity of demand. So that is why you denote elasticity of unit elastic demand as ED it is equal to 1. So here in this case the price is 3 rupees. So quantity demanded is 10. So when the price is raised for 4 rupees, it is increased to 15. Again 4 to 5 price increased, it is increased to 20. In each cases, the change is 5 units. 5 by 5 it is equal to 1. So when we depict this in two-dimensional diagram, we will get one downward slope linear curve. So this is unit elastic demand. Then the next one is more than unit elastic demand. More than unit elastic demand. So here in this case, the change in quantity demand for a commodity is more than change in its price. Change in quantity demand of a commodity is more than change in its price. So this is called as more than elastic or highly elastic, where ED is greater than 1. ED is greater than 1. So this happens in case of demand for luxury goods. This happens in case of demand for luxury goods. For example, the price of the commodity is 100. By the time the quantity demand is 400 units. When the price is raised to 150, so it is reduced to 100. So you can see the applications of same for the diagram. You can see here is the DD curve is steeper to OX axis. DD curve is steeper to OX axis. So in this case, the ED denotation is ED is greater than 1. So what is the situation in more than unit elastic case? In this case, the quantity demand of a commodity changes comparatively higher than what the changes happen in price. Okay. Then the last one is less than unit elastic demand. Less than unit elastic demand. So in this case, the percentage change in quantity demand is comparatively less than percentage change in the price of the commodity. The percentage change in quantity of commodity is less than percentage change in its price. Okay. So this is actually less than unit elastic demand. So here we have to denote ED is less than 1. So here we have given one example. The price is reduced 10 rupees to 20. The demand is reduced from 4 to 3 units. So when we depict the same in two-dimensional diagram, we can see that demand curve is closer to or steeper to OY axis. Okay, these are the 5 important types of price elasticity of demand. So at the final stage, I wanted to repeat you that elasticity of demand means it helps to study the responsiveness of quantity demand to given change in its determinants. If it is a case of price, it is the responsiveness of a quantity demand in its change in price. Okay. So this is the reference of the concerned topic. So you can refer for your further reading these books, or you can refer any of the books which is available in your library, or you can citation on websites related for this topic. Thank you very much for your patience listening.